Good evening to all attendees, aspirants, and to you, sir. My name is Nilay Bhatnagar, and on behalf of Team Arambh, I shall be giving your introduction to our audience this evening. Our webinar today concerns GTO tasks in the SSB, and for the same, our resource person today shall be retired Colonel Prakash Khandekar, an alumnus of the 46th course of the National Defense Academy and subsequently the Indian Military Academy. Colonel Khandekar was commissioned into the Corps of EME in 1975. He served in the regular army for 24 years, wherein, among other things, he commanded a light and field repair workshop in Rajasthan, served as the commanding officer for 39 EME Transport Battalion in the northern sector for 1.5 years. Colonel Khandekar raised and subsequently commanded the high-tech workshop in the elite Black Cat Commandos at Manesar. Apart from being in command, the colonel served as the senior group tasking officer at the Bangalore Services Selection Center and earned his bachelor's in engineering from the College of Military Engineering, Pune, the group testing officers course, and a PGDBM. After hanging his uniform voluntarily after 24 years of commissioned service, Colonel Khandekar began as the director of VSS Consultants as one of the leading experts in assessment and development centers in India. Thank you for being with us here, sir. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Nilesh. Nilay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Good evening, everybody. Let me first start by thanking the Team Arambh and all the members of Team Arambh, including Rupam, Ashutosh, Nilay, Priyambrat, and for giving this opportunity or creating this opportunity for all of us to be together. Now, I'm going to start with a small little presentation. First of all, I'm director of Col Khandekar Legal Academy, and I welcome all of you to this session today in the evening. Now, the method that we'll follow, or I'll follow for the session today is first I will introduce myself a little more in detail, then something about the Eagle Academy, something about the VSS Consultants, that is the other company, then the selection process, which all of you are quite familiar with, then schedule at the SSB, then the officer qualities which are seen, because that is what we are ultimately doing, then group tests of the group testing officers test, then insights into the GTO tasks, tips to do well the GTO group tasks, etc. And then in the end, we'll have questions from all of you, whoever is interested in asking questions. Right. So to start with, I am Colonel retired or a veteran, and I was in the Corps of EME. I finished my school certificate that is called the ISC. Those times it used to be ISC in 1970, and I then waited for 6 months to join the NDA course. That is the first degree NDA course. Earlier, the NDA used to be only 10th and above. You could join the NDA in the 10th, but then our course onwards it was 11th or 12th, or ISC was allowed. And so I was one of the youngest people to join the course. We waited for 6 months and then joined. I had a brother, a twin brother, and we both joined the NDA together. Then we branched out. He went to Air Force, I went to Army, I went to Indian Military Academy, and finally I got commissioned in the Corps of EME, that is Electronics and Mechanical Engineering. I wanted to be in the EME. I was fortunate enough to get the core that I wanted. Then, since I was not an engineer, I was just a plain BSc from NDA. The Indian Army gives an opportunity for us to do our engineering. So I've done my engineering from CME and NCME. CME is in Pune and NCME is in Secunderabad. Then while in the Army, I've done various courses, and one significant one was the GTO's course. And that has really changed my direction of or the course of my life. Then while in the army, I have also commanded the prestigious workshop of the National Security Guard and was a senior group testing officer at Selection Center, Bangalore, Selection Center South. I commanded an EME battalion, and while in command, I left the Indian Army. I got an opportunity. I took premature retirement, and I came to Pune, and I started the Eagle Academy immediately after that. I also worked alongside, I also worked with the Behavioral Science Center as a lead assessor, and this is a Mumbai-based company, and started a successful company, VSS Consultants, along with a colleague of mine who was also an ex-group testing officer, and we both started this company. And in that, we've done thousands of assessments of various executives at various levels from top to bottom, and also done a lot of training for assessors to become trained as assessors. Finally, I was also a faculty at the SCMLD, Symbiosis College of Management and Leadership Development. And that is my journey so far. Then about Eagle Academy. I started the Eagle Academy soon after leaving the Army. In the selection center, while I was a senior group testing officer, I realized that I could make a difference. And for small reasons, students or candidates were missing out and could not clear the SSB. And that is the time I got the insight, and it really changed my course after that. I made up my mind that time itself that if and when I leave the armed forces, this is one thing I'm going to do. I can help a lot of kids in joining the armed forces. Then I started the Eagle Academy in 1999, and my first student, the very first student who joined me was probably a brigadier today, and he was the first one who cleared. Then after that, a large number of students cleared, and one by one of various entries. I have also had the good fortune of having SSB toppers. That means the All India ranking 1 in SSB. And as well as the number of toppers in the academy. One of my student girls was, I just spoke to her just a few days back, and she's a colonel now, and she was a topper in OTA. She would have actually got the gold and the Sword of Honor, but they can't give two coveted medals to one person. So they gave only the gold of honor to her, not the Sword of Honor. Then I've been a visiting faculty at Sainik School, Satara, SPI, Aurangabad, etc., and visiting faculty for various training and lectures to NCC and various colleges around. Today, Eagle Academy has got more than 1633 successful candidates. Most of them are officers, some have not become for various reasons, but many of them are service personnel, and a very large number, a fairly large number of girls who become lady officers. It's given me a very great and a proud feeling. As far as VSS consultant is concerned, I left the army and I started the Eagle Academy. Simultaneously, I was also working as a senior consultant with the Behavioral Science Center. It's in assessment and development centers. It's a similar kind of work in the corporate world, but there's got a little variation. Then I branched out with another GTO and started this VSS consultant, designed and led a large number of assessment development centers, both for Indian companies as well as MNCs, and trained a larger number of HR and other professionals in the art of assessment and development centers, and did a lot of work in competency assessment and competency framework. By the way, competency is the same thing as we know in the armed forces. It's called the OQs, officer quality. In the corporate world, it's called competency. Right. So much about the introduction about myself. Now, how did the SSB start? Maybe you must be, all of you might maybe have a little idea about this. First use was by Germany. They were prevented from rearming, and they were prevented from doing any kind of training and selection. So they started, after the Treaty of Versailles, they started a system by which they could select officers in the armed forces. The usual method of blue blood theory did not really work very well. So they gathered a whole lot of scientists and psychologists, and they devised a method. And that method was very successful, and it was also taken over. Similar method was taken over by the British when they were governing us or ruling us. Then the WOSB, the War Office Selection Boards, were opened in 1942 in the country at various places. And it was followed by USA, which started using the same technique for Office of Strategic Studies for selection of agents and operatives. First used in India by the corporate world was in 1956. By then, the selection board had already been functioning in the country, and the first commercial use was by BILT, that is Ballarpur Industries Limited. They started using this technique of assessment centers, and which is similar to the kind of assessment that we do in the selection centers. And finally, the WOSBs got converted into SSBs, and today we have a whole lot of SSBs, 21 SSBs all over the country. Now, if you read this, I don't know whether you all can read it or not. The king shall thoroughly investigate all qualities of anyone whom he is considering for appointment as a minister. Of these qualities, nationality, family background, and amenability to discipline shall be verified by reliable people who know the candidate well. The candidate's knowledge of various arts shall be tested by experts in their respective fields. Intelligence, perseverance, dexterity shall be evaluated by examining his past performance, while eloquence, boldness, and presence of mind shall be ascertained by interviewing him personally. So you see, the technique of the entire selection process. For example, the next sentence is watching how the person deals with others will show his energy, endurance, ability to suffer adversities, integrity, loyalty, and friendliness. All these are techniques which are used in the selection center. So basically, this method of assessing people, observing behavior, and seeing their qualities was there in our country. This is Arthashastra, Chanakya, about 300 BC. It's been there in our country. The method of assessment and everything. The interview technique, see, all of them show that the methodology has always existed in our country. Now it has got formulated and it's been converted, and we have the selection boards. Okay. What is the basic selection process? One is first is the advertisement. All of you know that. Then application has to be filled online. These days, everything is online, which is wonderful. Then sorting of application is done as per the entries at the whichever agency is conducting it. Then issue of the admit card. If there's a written examination, there's an admit card. That examinations are conducted generally April, September for NDA and for other different timing. Then written exams results normally come out within 2 months. Conduct of SSB interviews takes place immediately after that, and conduct of medical examination. Then 60 clear days have to be given for the medical to be completed, and 2 months before the beginning of the starting of the course, approximately SSBs are over, merit lists are published, and joining instructions are issued for candidates to join the various training establishments. This is the basic process. Now, SSB. Basically, it's a three-pronged testing approach that is adopted in the services selection board across the country. There are 3 people testing each candidate in 3 completely different techniques. That is, one is Vacha is interview, Mansa is or doing, action. So all of them are doing basically the same thing. They are assessing candidates for 15 qualities. And these are the 15 qualities which are divided into 4. All of them are doing basically the same thing. They are assessing candidates for 15 qualities. And these are the 15 qualities which are divided into 4 factors. Factor 1, which is the factor of the mind and everything to do above the neck. Effective intelligence, reasoning, is the heart. Factor 2, which is social adaptability, cooperation, and sense of responsibility, everything to do with the heart. Then factor 3 is to do with the guts, initiative, self-confidence, speed of decision, ability to influence the group, and cheerfulness and liveliness. And lastly, the dynamic factor, that is determination, courage, and stamina, to do with the limbs. So these 15 qualities, which are called officer qualities, which in the corporate world we call them competencies, are being assessed or observed and assessed by all the 3 assessors. That is the GTO, Group Testing Officer, the psychologist, and the interview officer. All 3 have the same agenda. All 3 have the same 15 qualities to assess the candidate. Only thing is they're doing it independently. No one does not know what the other one has done or what you have done with the other one. And we integrate our findings or whatever we have testing we have done or the results that we have obtained from that on the final day, that is the conference day, and decide whether to clear the candidate or not to clear the candidate. The aim being that the interest of the organization, that is the armed forces or the country, it will always be uppermost in our mind. So we are always looking, all 3 of us are doing exactly the same job. All 3 are equally important. All 3 have the same agenda to assess the candidate for these 15 qualities and to select the best. Selection means picking out the best from the best to be officers in the armed forces to be trained. So selection center is basically picking up raw material, which is then sent to the academies for on a fine gemstone. A raw uncut stone or diamond has got no brilliance in it. But after it's cut and polished, it becomes a brilliant gemstone worth any amount. Now, the schedule at the SSB is like this. On the first day report, these days the reporting has started at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock, and earlier used to be at 1300 hours at the railway station. Sometimes even today in the afternoon could be called. And the first day could be, if you called in the morning, the first day is just reporting. And immediately after the reporting, you're at the railway station, you're picked up from there, taken to the selection center or the board. And over there, all your documents are checked, call letters checked, certificates checked, everything is checked. If everything is found correct, you're asked to fill up 1 copy of personal information questionnaire form, like the biodata form, some other forms for PATA, etc. And finally, one group testing officer comes in, the duty group testing officer comes in, stands in front of everybody and welcomes everybody and gives a half an hour, 45 minutes of lecture in which he tells everything that is going to happen at the selection board for the next 2 to 5 days that you're going to be there, or 1 to 5 days. If you're called the first day at 1300 hours or in the afternoon, then all this process happens in the afternoon and next day screening test. If you're called in the morning, the screening test is on the same day as the reporting. Then after that, by 10 o'clock, if you're called in the morning, by 10 o'clock, the screening test is conducted. And after the screening test, a very large number of candidates leave the selection center who have been found to be wanting in some areas. And the ones who have been successful in the screening are retained. These people fill up 1 more copy of PIQ form, personal information questionnaire form, and then they settle down. The interviews start off immediately after that. The interviewing officers are waiting for candidates because they have to do a large number of candidates before the end of the last day, that is the conference day. So they start off with the interviews. Next day is psychological day, and psychologist has got 4 tests, PAT, WAT, SIT, self-description. Next day is group testing officer's first day, and the next day after that is group testing officer's second day. So for the group testing officer, the batch, let us say if it's of 40 candidates, is now remaining batch after the screening test is now split into smaller groups, 10 each, and 1 GTO. There are 4 GTOs in each board. So 1 GTO assigned to each group, or each group has got 1 GTO who would test the group for the next 2 days. GTO first day, GTO second day. Then sometime in the afternoon, evening, anytime, an interview is conducted from the day you got screened in. After getting screened in, you could be interviewed by the interview officer, which lasts for about 45 minutes plus minus. And so by the time you reach the last day, that is the conference day, 3 people have already tested you, 1 group testing officer, 1 psychologist, and 1 interview officer. So 3 people have tested, and finally everybody gets together in the conference hall, and integration of the findings takes place, and results are announced. After that, there's medical, and medical is a separate issue altogether. The separate test numbers are given, and the medical examination starts. This is the basic process. So what we are going to do now is I am going to confine myself to GTO first day and GTO second day. Now GTO has got 9 tasks. As you are aware, there's group discussion, group planning exercise, progressive group task, group obstacle race, half group task, lecture rate, individual obstacle, command task, and final group task. These are conducted over a period of 2 days. On the first day, 6 tests. On the second day, remaining 3 tests. Now here, I'm going to show you a small little video so that you will understand. All those people who have never been for SSB will be able to understand what it means and what are these tasks all about. I'm going to show you the clip, which is, of course, available all over in the selection center, central Bhopal also, it's there. So I'm going to show a little part of that.
Good morning, gentlemen. You're welcome to the day 3 of the GTO 1 day. As you know, on the 3rd day, it is a blitzkrieg of action at the group testing grounds. Against time and some physical stress, the behavior pattern is inferred by the actions of the candidates in a group. In the morning, you will meet your group testing officer. He will first brief you in journal on all outdoor tests in which you will participate as a group. Before your group tackles a particular task, he will brief you again in detail. Here, the primary concern is to see how you face up to the obstacles in the task allotted and your attitude towards other members of the group, both when working with them or while directing them. Group tests do not require specialized individual skills on your part. Logical thinking, coordinated team effort, work ability to receive and give suggestion is what is looked for. You will be provided with sketchboards, ladders, ropes, planks, poles, and other such things as your tools to help you in the assigned task. You are given a few minutes to form a plan and thereafter execute the task within the given time frame. The battery of GTO tests consists of 9 testable tasks, which includes to start with group discussion, group planning exercise, progressive group task, group obstacle race, half group task, lecture rate, individual obstacles, command task, and finally the final group task. The GTO tests generally span over 2 days. However, when the batch is large, the test may have to be covered in 1 day, leaving you free on the other day. Now, let us look at each of these tests more closely. The first task of GTO battery of test begins with group discussion on a debatable topic, which is usually given on current events or social issues. In the first group discussion, your group is allowed to select one of the 2 topics offered. In the second group discussion, the topic is of the GTO's choice. Each discussion will last for approximately 20 to 30 minutes. Each candidate is expected to participate in the discussion. Remember that a discussion involves an exchange of ideas and thoughts. It is not a one-way traffic of words. The group planning exercise is the next GTO test. During this, a story on a model with a few problems is narrated. What you are required is to identify the problems and evolve a practical solution within the given time. You are expected to write down your own individual solutions on the paper provided. You should think logically, write and draw neatly. Also, examine alternative solutions and weed out the ones that are absolutely impractical. Thereafter, your group collective solution will be discussed by the group. You are expected to participate in involving a group plan acceptable to everybody. One of you may then be asked to explain the acceptable final group plan. The progressive group task is the next test. 4 obstacles are required to be collectively negotiated by your group along with a heavy load. Certain helping materials in the form of ropes, planks, etc. are provided. About 40 minutes are assigned for this task. Ground rules will be explained to you in detail before the start of the task. Make sure you and your group adhere to them strictly. Remember that all of you and the load negotiate the obstacles together to move on during this test. The next test is the group obstacle race. Unlike other tasks, here your entire group is required to compete with other groups of your batch over a set of 6 obstacles. Each group has to carry a rolled up tent, oblique a stuffed gunny bag in the shape of a snake from the start point to the finish point. Therefore, the task is commonly referred as a snake race. The rules of the race will be explained to you. The winner is the group that covers all the obstacles against the challenge posed by opponents. Not to forget to include time, obstacles, and load within the framework of rules of the race. After the race, there is a short 20 minutes break for you to rest and recoup. After the break, you will participate in the half group task. This task is similar to the progressive group task, except for that it is conducted over one obstacle with smaller group. On completion of the half group task, the GTO will conduct the task called lecture it. Each member of your group will deliver a 3 minutes informal talk. A set of different topics will be offered separately to each candidate. You can choose one topic from this set. Approximately 3 minutes are given to you to prepare your talk and thereafter speak for 3 minutes in front of the group on the subject that you have chosen. That completes the set of GTO tasks on day 3. So, as mentioned earlier, some of you may have your interview scheduled during the afternoon or the evening of day 3. So do confirm the same before you make your plans for the afternoon or the evening. Welcome to the day 4 of GTO 2 day. The balance of the GTO tests and interviews are conducted on day 4. The GTO technique maintains its pace over the 4th day too, concentrating mostly at individual level and cleaning out the essential aspects of stamina with the individual obstacle course. In the individual obstacle course, there are 10 obstacles designed to test your individual ability in negotiating them. You're given 3 minutes to negotiate as many obstacles as possible on your own. If the course is completed within the time limit, you may repeat the obstacles of your choice. After all members of the group have completed their individual obstacle course, the GTO will give them a break and thereafter take the group to the next task called the command task. Now, in the next task called the command task, each member of your group will be put in command of the group in turn. The objective being the completion of a specified task as a commander. You will first be briefed by the group testing officer who will brief you regarding the task. And thereafter, you will then explain the task to the group and give instructions and also monitor the completion of the task personally. As the name suggests, the last GTO test is the final group task. Here, once again, the entire group gets together to complete an assigned task within the stipulated time frame. Before leaving the testing area, you will be debriefed by the GTO. He will also explain the procedure to be followed at the board conference on day 5. Some do's and don'ts during the GTO test are:
All right, so those were the various group tests, and in the video, he has explained what they are. So we start with the group discussion, and we carry on like this. The first day is over with the lecture. Next day, we start off with individual obstacles and final group task. Now, the process is, what is the process which is followed? That is, the group of shortlisted candidates are taken. Approximately, let's say 40 candidates have got shortlisted after the screening test. Now they are split into smaller groups of 10 each for the group testing officer, or otherwise they are collectively administered the site test and individually called for the interview. And these people are made to go through the series of activities which are simulations or actual activities designed to elicit the competencies of the candidate or the qualities of the candidate. So it's a very scientifically designed process in which the qualities that we are looking for, we are seen by the assessors who are trained in that particular technique. The manifested behavior is observed and recorded and then evaluated. And evaluation of the behavior, we get those 15 qualities that we are looking at, and then we finally make our assessment of the candidate, and we sit together in the conference hall, and all the assessors one by one for a particular candidate get discussing with each other, and we decide whether the candidate is suitable for retention for selection and for training in the armed forces, and to become an officer in the armed forces, and suitable to be called for training in the academy. This is the basic process that takes place. So basically, we are subjecting candidates to various activities or involving them in various activities and observing their behavior. Behavior means whatever you say, whatever you do is behavior. And from that, we are deriving those 15 qualities. All three are doing exactly the same job. All three are equally important. All three have the same. Now, every action of yours is being watched with the GTO, by the GTO or the interview officer. The psychologist doesn't meet you, so there is no question of watching you. But whatever you do with the GTO is under observation. Whatever you speak is heard and it is recorded. Every word is not recorded, but all the important aspects or important things are recorded. You are also observed in groups with the GTO and individually by the interview officer. We are silently observing each candidate. We remain unobtrusive outside the group so that we don't interfere and don't create any kind of a problem in the discussion or any activity which is group activity. We don't want to force ourselves into the discussion. So we remain observant and quietly sitting on the side, like a fly on the wall or a cow grazing in the field. We jot down all the observations that we have, and finally we analyze them. The group tasks are all observational tasks. So we are observing the behavior of the candidate, observing the behavior by getting you involved in an activity. And how do we involve you in activity? By giving you or getting you into activities which necessarily have to be group related. And then when you get involved in that activity, we observe your behavior. We also observe the quality and the frequency of the behavior that you present. So let's say, for example, in the group discussion, a person may speak a lot, but the quality of whatever he says may be not very good or not very acceptable. So it's pointless that the person is speaking, although he spoke a lot, but he did not create much impact. Then the corresponding officer qualities are matched. We have designed these tasks in such a way, they are scientifically designed in such a way that the officer qualities that we are looking for are elicited in each of those tasks. And we are repeatedly seeing this quality. It's not that it's only once that we see it number of times in number of different ways, and we get you involved in group activities, individual activities, and observable behavior. For example, communication skills. That we all understand what is communication. Now, communication is speaking skills as well as listening skills. So we are watching communication in the group discussion. That's very obvious. We are going to be watching your communication skills in the group discussion. Then we again watch your communication skills in the group planning itself. Again, there is a discussion amongst other things, amongst many other things. Then we also see communication during the lecturing. Then the GTO also talks to you whenever he gets an opportunity. So a couple of times we are watching your communication in any case. Each assessor or each GTO is watching the communication of each and every candidate at least 3-4 times. And then we make an evaluation, and then we finally decide as to how good or not so very good your communication may be. Now that's the way we are observing behavior. So we are observing behavior for all the 15 qualities. And all these 15 qualities can be seen in the various tasks which are designed. Some are indoor activities, some are outdoor activities, some are physical activities, some are mental activities. So we get a number of manifested behaviors into various tasks. And then we evaluate, compile all of them, put them all into a basket, then open the basket and see what all have you got about each candidate. And finally decide, well, how good or otherwise are you in a particular quality. So basically, we are assessing your leadership skill and potential for to be a leader in the future. Your focus on your goals, your focus on your aims, and how you strive to achieve them. Your emotional stability is being watched, and your level of motivation. This is the way we evaluate your behavior. Now, how to prepare? It's a good question. Everybody asks this question, how do you prepare for the GTO? First of all the instructions that are given to you either verbally or in writing must be read very well and understand each and everything. For instance, you get your call letter. There are a whole lot of instructions given to you in the call letter. Read them carefully, understand them, and make it a habit to go through each and every instruction in detail. Read it well, understand it. Then plan well for the SSB. Now, planning well for SSB means you have to prepare for the SSB. See where your shortcomings are. See what are the areas that you need to focus on. See the areas that you need to work upon. And the ones which are you're good, let's say you're very good at communication skills. Excellent. Very good. It will help you, no doubt. But then the other areas need to be strengthened which are not. Plan well for the SSB, well in time, and pick up all those activities. For example, if your communication skills are weak, you need to polish them. You need to join some course. You need to join some fluency development course. Do that. That is what is going to help. While in the SSB, dress up smartly and adhere to the dress code. Dress code is very clearly given to you, and wear decent clothing. It doesn't have to be very expensive. It just has to be well pressed and neat and clean. That's it. Groom yourself well. It's very important to groom yourself before you go for SSB. That is, you must clip your nails. I've seen candidates coming with long nails. Then smart haircut. You don't have to have a recruit haircut, but a smart haircut. Shave every single day. If you're a male, you must shave every single day while you are in the SSB. Even if you don't get a very heavy beard, you don't have a very heavy growth. It doesn't matter, but shave every single day. Look smart. trim your mustaches and clear all the hair from your ears and nose, etc., etc. People come with long hair. It doesn't look very nice. You must groom yourself properly before you come. Then personal hygiene, brushing your teeth, cleaning your, all this is very, very important, very, very basic. Personal hygiene is very important. Teeth must be clean. Must have, if they are not, go to the dentist and get them polished. Keep yourself physically fit. Regular exercise is very, very important. Not only for the armed forces and the SSB, but it's important for you in any case. And this corona times, it's absolutely important to do regular exercise. Lead a disciplined life yourself. Their discipline must be inculcated in you. A lot of people say, I would like to join the armed forces because of the discipline. The discipline is individual. It's up to you. Armed forces just helps you. They force you into it initially, but then becomes a part of you. But discipline, you can be disciplined wherever you are. You should be disciplined even today. That's the preparation that you should be doing. Play lots of games, sports, adventure activities, and outdoor activities. Develop hobbies and interests. The games and sports are very important. You must play lots of games and sports. They are very essential. If you don't play games and sports, you lose out so much in life. I have come across so many people who say, I don't play any game, any sport at all, but I want to be in the armed forces. Well, you can be, but you don't have to be Sachin Tendulkar, or you don't have to be a champion or the ace. But as long as you play sports and games, it helps you develop. Then developing hobbies and interests. Everybody must have some kind of hobbies and interests. It could be even cooking. It could be reading. And reading books is one of the best things that you could do. Read lots of books on varied subjects, including biographies and history books and whatever books you can lay your hand on, whatever interests you. Read a lot of fiction books. That's how your imagination develops. And that is important. And it shows. The person who reads books, that person, the way he speaks, the way he interacts, the way he expresses his views and opinions, you can make out that this person must be reading a lot of books. Plan activities with your friends. That means go to various events, wherever you're going, or maybe even outdoor activities like hikes, treks. Plan them. You should be the one who should be planning. And this will develop a lot of leadership skills in you. Planning skills, leadership skills, all that is developed because of this. Do creative thinking. Every single day you must think of something new, something different that you need to do. Every little thing can be improved. Some change can be made. Some improvement can be made. Question the status quo. If you remain inquisitive, find out why. Why is it that we are doing it this way? Don't just follow the straight path. Trailblaze, make your own path. Become internet and computer savvy. Today, if you are not internet or computer savvy, you lose out a lot in life. And childhood, they are today becoming experts in computers. Old people, great grandparents, they're all becoming computer savvy. You are living in this age and time where internet has become part and parcel. Small kids, just in the first, second, third standard, they are also able to. I know a lot of people who don't even have email ID. So it's a terrible thing to happen. Keep yourself informed of whatever is happening in the country and current events. Keep yourself informed. You don't need to be an expert, or you don't need to have very deep knowledge about it, but generally be informed about what is happening in the country and the world. Be a good human being. That is the part and parcel, that you must be a good human being. You start feeling good for yourself. You start feeling good for people around you. Do something meaningful every day. Every day, you must do one little thing which gives you satisfaction. At least one simple thing. Any improvement, any change, clean something up, do something in this country, in the world, for yourself, for your surroundings, for your environment, for your people around you. Help others wherever possible. Go out of your way to help people. You start getting this, you start developing this habit of being accessible to people. You will build a lot of confidence by doing all these things. Cultivate good friends. Friends are very, very important. And good friend circle which enriches you, which is a vital or essential aspect of your life. You can also plan activities with your friends. Laugh a lot, and learn to enjoy life. You're looking for cheerful people also. And cheerfulness is connected with your self-confidence. Do not be afraid to take calculated risks. You need to be able to take risks in your life. And that happens when you start playing games and sports which require a lot of physical endurance and physical activity, where risks are taken. If, for example, cricket with a cricket ball, hockey, all these adventure activities, rock climbing, all these activities develop the ability to handle risks in your life. Even climbing a tree involves risk. Do not be afraid to take risks in your life. And these aspects reflect in the GTO tasks. Somewhere or other, in the outdoor activities, in the group activities, and wherever there is a, for example, you've seen in the individual obstacles, your ability to take risks, calculated risks. Knowing what danger lies ahead, you take a risk, that is what. Start taking decisions. How many people take decisions in a group of friends? How many times are you the one who's taking the decision, telling everybody to do whatever they should do? If you recall your own or see your own friend group or friend circle, you'll see that some people in the group are always taking decisions for the whole group. They are the ones who decide what activity will be done. They decide where to go, what to see. And how many times have you taken decisions like this? How often do you do it? If you don't, you start doing them now. Same thing reflects over there. Now, tips for doing well in the GTO task. First of all, the most important aspect is that you must listen to the GTO very carefully, with full concentration. Whatever he says has got meaning. We are not just talking for the sake of talking. We've got very, very little extraneous stuff to add. We've got very little stuff other than what we want to convey. So whatever we want to convey is what we call briefing. So every aspect of what we need to convey is covered in the briefing. And so listening and with concentration is very, very important. Understand the briefing, because the briefing is so designed that every matter that I need to get across to everybody is covered over there. You will practically have no questions to ask if you listen to the briefing well. And every GTO knows the briefing very well. Perceive the problem posed correctly and assimilate all the details well. If you don't listen well, you don't understand, what are you going to do? And that's exactly what happens. In so many cases, so many in the entire testing life, so many people don't listen properly. They don't understand what is to be done. And then they look over the shoulders to somebody else to explain to them. At that point, there is hardly any time that anybody can spend to explain to you what you're supposed to do. If you don't understand, wait for a while, understand, and then get there. Let's say in the group planning exercise, which is the second task of the GTO series, if you just don't understand the problems that are posed or enunciated, what are you going to do? Maybe there is an odd problem that you don't understand. You can always clarify it when you're given a chance and opportunity. But you must go into the details. There must be logical and realistic approach to problem solving. Now, various types of problems are posed to you. There are individual problems, there are group problems, group problems. Have a logical approach. That is, how should I go about doing this? How should I go about solving it? What to prioritize your actions? You need to be energetic. We're looking at that. The GTO is watching you for everything that you do. The energy that you display, the energy that you show can be seen in the group very clearly. Never step on anybody. You're not competing with anybody. You're not competing with anybody in the group. In a group activity also, we are watching you individually in relation to the group and the group in relation to each one. But you're not competing with the group. You're any member of the group. So never step on anyone. Don't try to outdo anybody. We are watching you, each one of you individually. Although it's in a group that we are watching you, we are watching each one of you individually. And you don't have to feel that you're falling short or somebody is doing better than you and so you must keep quiet or anything like that. You participate well, you participate wholeheartedly and project yourself the best you can. Be humble and modest. Humility and modesty are very, very important aspects in life. Don't boast with your friends and with everybody else in the group or amongst yourselves. Many a times people feel that if they are overbearing and or they project themselves as if they are heroes, the rest of the group members will get intimidated. No, it's nothing, not at all. People who are confident of themselves, they don't get intimidated. Take initiative, come forward, take on the responsibility. Many a times the GTO asks for volunteer or who would like to do it first, take on the initiative, come forward. Work enthusiastically in a team. The team activities, the group activities are all concentrated with the GTO. The other, that is the psych and the interview, also have group, they have situations. But here you are practically doing it and physically doing it in front of with each other in front of the GTO. So it's a demonstrative performance that we are watching. Be an enthusiastic member of the team. If you don't understand what is to be done, you can never achieve your goals. Keep that aim in mind, constantly keep that aim in mind. If, for example, the GTO has told you that at the end of 20 minutes, discuss and formulate a common group story, and one of you should give the common group story. So the whole aim is that the group has to achieve a common group story within the time that is allotted. And one of you needs to give the common group story to the GTO. So that aim is very, very clear. Don't lose that. You participate in the discussion and you keep quiet and sit, wait for something to happen. Why don't you realize that you were told clearly to give out a common group solution to the GTO or common group plan to the GTO? So keep that aim in mind. Make workable plans for action. So before you jump into anything, make a plan of action. For example, in the group planning itself, the second task, you need to make your individual plan. So you understand, grasp, understand the problem, make a good plan of action, your ability, and then execute the plan or enunciate the plan to everybody. Make amends to your own plan if you feel that the other plans are better. Look for solutions to the problem. There are many ways to find solutions. Look for alternate solutions. How can you create alternate solutions to the same problem? The same problem can be tackled in many, many ways. Remain alert. Lots of things are happening around you. The like you just heard the GTO saying, blitzkrieg of activities. There are tremendous amount of activity that takes place with the GTO, and it's a very enthusiastic activity, and everybody is participating. Remain alert. What is happening? The GTO gives you instructions. He tells you something. Let's say you're doing a task. The GTO intervenes and gives you some instructions. Remain alert to that. Don't be focused only on your area of work and you don't listen to him at all. Be friendly and willingly cooperate with others. Willing cooperation. Then be genuinely interested in others' views and opinions. Don't just make a sham. You listen to others, focus on what they're saying, listen to them. Lots of thoughts and ideas will come to your mind if you listen to them carefully. Never be mean or selfish. At the same time, you should not lose your own opportunity to project yourself. If you get an opportunity to project yourself, get an opportunity to do or work for the whole group, take on. But at the same time, don't be mean or selfish. You downplay somebody and step on others and get yourself in the forefront. Don't do that. We are watching you. Sometimes it may be necessary to subjugate personal interest for the good of the group. You let go your own, you don't have to be rigid. I know it's my way or highway. There are others who've got better plans, the other better options. Especially in all the outdoor activities, the group plan, progressive group task, group obstacle race, individual obstacle, group obstacle race, progressive group task, half group task, command task, final group task. All these tasks are outdoor mental activities. They are group tasks and mental activities. So if your solution is not very effective, listen to others and see if there's a, think about new solutions, come back again. Don't give up. Be bold in your decisions. Decision taking is very, very important aspect. A lot of people don't take decisions because they never got used to taking decisions in their childhood, in their life, and they follow instructions and decisions given by others. You must learn to take decisions also. All decisions must be considered decisions and learn to take decisions. You might make mistakes, it's okay, but learn to take decisions. Do not cheat or lie. Cheating and lying is the absolute no-no. If you do something like this, it is your outright cancelling your selection, because cheating and lying is not acceptable at all. And we are watching you. That is following instructions, rules. You've been told certain things that don't touch red, and you go on touching red, things like that. And telling lies in, no, I said it, I didn't do this, all that is being seen. Don't do that, that will go against you and it will not help you at all. Follow, remain time conscious. People are not conscious of the time. If I told you 15 minutes, 15 minutes, be conscious of that. That you have so much of time. Many times the GTO tells you, you've got only 5 minutes left or very little time left. Be conscious of that. Communicate to each other in an articulate manner. Good communication skills will always help you. Motivate self and others. Be self-motivated in any case, and many times people are down and down because something goes wrong and they're not able to achieve. Don't mind. Motivate them. Making good eye contact while speaking is essential. Whenever you speak to your friend, make eye contact. Don't look at the GTO. He's looking at you, you don't look at him. Never look at the GTO unless he's talking to you. Because if you're so involved in activity that you're doing, you will not even realize the presence of anybody around you. So be involved and engrossed in your activity. If you're genuinely engrossed, you'll not even notice the person around you. You won't even notice the GTO because he remains unobtrusive. That's our technique. We keep ourselves out of the scene and we quietly observe your behavior. Don't give up. Many times the GTO will make it tough for you, but don't give up. Try and see if there's a possibility of finding a method or finding a solution. He might make it tough for you. The easiest thing in this world is to give up. Don't ever give up. Keep trying. If he's asking you for some solution and he's asking you more solutions, there must be a way. If he's asking you for a solution, there must be a way and I must do it. That is the attitude that you got. Not that I found the solution. He says, okay, well done, you've done the solution. Tell me, is there anything else you can do? He says, no, sir. Don't give up. Find another way. If he's asking you a question, then you must find a way. Never show annoyance, irritation, or ill will. It's an absolute no. You don't need to get annoyed. Remain calm and collected. That displays your confidence in yourself. A person who loses his temper is lack of stress tolerance. Should be able to tolerate stress. Stress is inherent in anything. Everywhere you will realize that stress plays a role. Whenever you go for the SSB, everybody is a little tense and a little stressed out. But you should be able to handle that stress. If you can't handle this stress, how are you going to handle greater stress in your life in the armed forces? It's also a stressful life. You're facing danger, you're facing adversity everywhere. Be a team player as well as a team captain. It's important to be both a team player and a team captain. A good team captain is both a good team player as well as a team captain. So you should also participate with others, cooperate with others. At the same time, you should take the responsibility onto yourself. There are tasks in which you are given an opportunity to play whatever role you want. We don't appoint anybody as captain or team leader or anything like that. We give you equal opportunity to all. And the beauty of the whole system is that people tend to find their own level wherever they are. And they take on the role that they are most comfortable with. They're looking, after all, you understand that we are looking for leaders. We are looking for people who are going to take on the leadership role. And for that, you need to be able to take on the responsibility on your own for the sake of the whole team. Voice your opinion with conviction. You must have courage of conviction. You must say what you want to say and do what you want to do. But at the same time, don't antagonize anybody. Take them along with you. Take your friends along with you. But stand by your feeling, by your opinion and your views. If you feel that way, convince them. Tell them, look, this is what I feel, and that's why we feel that we must take this approach. Be respectful to others. It's important. And display good etiquette and manners. One of the most important things is etiquette and good manners. They speak volumes about a person. Basically, project yourself as you are. That is a good, cultured human being coming from a cultured background. That is one of the most important aspects. If you have to sum total everything, a good, cultured human being coming from a good, cultured background. Right. Any questions? I may have exceeded the time. Milen.
Sir, Priyambada is going to be going with the questions.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So I'm sure everyone would have got deep insight into the GTO tasks in SSB. Though you have wonderfully explained each of the tasks so amazingly, we have a list got from the audience during the event. I would request you to clear some of these doubts pertaining to SSB and GTO tasks.
Sure, please.
So the first question is, what to do when all attempts fail and you run out of ideas? What is the right approach to tackle the situation?
Okay. If the question is related to the tasks, outdoor activities, let's say progressive task, hard task, command task, management task, where you have to find solutions to problems. If your concepts are clear, basic understanding of the method is there, you will find some solution. You will come out. It's okay. If at times you can't come out with a solution, it's okay. You can't be 100%, you can't 100% every time be able to find solutions to problems. It's okay. If there is a group activity, you can always ask each other. It's okay, for perfectly all right. You're not looking for 100% solutions every time. But if it happens very often, then there's something wrong. You should be able to find solutions to those problems. See, what happens is many candidates come to the selection center, they have had no prior knowledge or understanding of the whole system or the process. They have not taken any kind of help from anywhere. They have not been to any training institutes at all. So in the progressive group task, the first task is very simple. And with a little bit of help from each other, you can easily cross that. So that task, really speaking, gives a lot of opportunity to those such candidates who've never had a chance to get some kind of a insight or training anywhere. So they learn. In the first one, they learn. In the second one also, they learn. They don't participate much because they have no idea about these planks and finding solutions or not. But by the time they reach the third one, they have become smart. They are basically intellectually very smart. So basic understanding is there. They are able to take on from there onward. And you see a progressively improved performance by such candidates who have got this ability. So if you are not able to solve in a particular time, okay, it's okay. No issue. It's not in one little isolation that we didn't find the solution for this particular problem, so he is not passed. Yeah, next question.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, how can we inculcate the skills needed for group tasks in our day-to-day life?
That's exactly what I covered.
Yes, sir.
All the group tasks are basically interaction with people. It's not only interaction with people, it's also cohesive working with each other. And if you are used to planning, executing, taking on responsibilities, driving others in sports, adventure activities, and other group activities, and just your friend circle, then that is what we are looking at. That's how you develop. Games and sports inculcate all these things. If you've been team captain, then in any case, you have reached that level that you are able to guide others, drive others, and you can take on responsibility for others. So in your personal life, all of you must plan activity. How many of you planned activities for along with your parents? So let's do this, and I will plan the whole thing. You just pay for it. That's all. You should try it once. What will happen? Worst comes to worst, if dad will say no. Or then you come back again. You say, let's fix up a budget, and I'll plan the whole thing, and we'll do this. Try it out. Try it out with your friends. Motivate them to go for a trek or hike or any activity, and plan out the entire schedule. You may make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Only people who work make mistakes. Otherwise, people who don't work don't make mistakes. So learn to make mistakes. Okay. So that's how you learn. Stop holding fingers of your parents or your elders or seniors. Take on your own. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Next question.
How to overcome anxiety during narration or group discussion?
Well, everybody has anxiety. Everybody is tense a little bit. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you are genuinely involved in an activity, you don't worry about who's watching you or not watching you. You will within a short while, you tune the person up. You tune the GTO. You will get involved in an activity. And automatically, everybody is nervous. Let me explain to you. You must clearly understand that there is not a single person who is not nervous. Everybody is nervous. It's okay. Part of the testing. It's good. No issues. You should be able to handle that much of stress. So good communication skills actually helps you a lot in this area. If you've got good communication skills, good gift to grab, you can speak whatever you want, whenever you want. So you should be able to, over a period of time, get over this nervousness and get going. So basically you need to develop good communication skills now itself, before you go. And that will help you. Good vocabulary. What happens is many times we are groping for words. We don't know how to say whatever we want to say. So if you've got good vocabulary, you will be able to construct a sentence. See, you don't have to participate too much. It's the quality that matters, not the quantity. But that's what I said. Frequency and quality, both are important. Frequency means how many times you participate, how often you participate, and quality means the level of the participation, the level of thoughts expressed, the views expressed. You don't have to, even if you speak 2-3 times, but speak very well and good, articulate manner, and you express the viewpoint which is acceptable, and you create an equal amount of impact, or even much better impact for that. Yeah, next question.
Yes, sir. So next question is, in any group activity, there are many aspects such as conflicts of ideas and fish market, which leads to a chaotic scenario. How to handle such situations smoothly without being dominant?
Okay, you'll see you'll notice in a group, there are 2 or 3 people who are really dominant. The rest are all not so dominant as the 1, 2 or 3. First of all. Secondly, this mainly happens in the repeaters group, where people have been trained and coached and all sorts of things. So they are the ones who have been trained, they have been told to keep on speaking irrespective. So you have to assert yourself a little bit at times. You have to assert yourself, raise your voice maybe, but very diplomatically, very, shall I say, in a manner that you don't antagonize anybody. At the same time, you don't lose your own chance. So very diplomatically assert yourself and let the other person know that, look, I would like to speak and I would like to suggest a matter. If he says no, he says, please, 1 second. So this is assertion. You must assert yourself. Don't get cowed down by people. And this, if you make it as a habit of yourself in your friend circle, it starts over there itself. In your friend circle, people, your friends, boisterous friends, over people who are generally who tend to shout a lot and get irritable, and they are slight bullies. They are the ones who intimidate others. Don't get intimidated by them. Face them calmly and, excuse me, I'd like to say something. Be firm in whatever you want to say and say it. Get yourself heard. Get used to it. Initially, you will find it difficult, but practice like this at home with your friends, with your acquaintances, amongst your family members also. Many families, parents don't allow their children to speak very openly and freely. Express yourself, assert yourself. Yeah.
So what is the right approach to solve group planning exercise?
First of all, group planning exercise is an exercise in which we get a lot of quality in that. You must read and understand everything, what is given. When the GTO is explaining the model, listen to him carefully, understand what is said. If you don't understand something, he asks you, any questions? We ask this question all through, any question. There's one question that we keep on asking, because we don't want you to go with a doubt or without understanding. So understand what exactly is the situation, the whole situation. What are the problems? Then what problem need to be tackled? How? Which is the problem which is most important, which needs to be planned and tackled first. There are important problems and there are urgency in the problem. There's urgency and importance. The magnitude of the problem is the importance, and the urgency is the time factor. So which problem needs to be tackled first? Which can be simultaneously tackled? And in fact, with a group of people, most of the problems can be simultaneously attacked or addressed. So make a plan of action. You may not have a perfect plan, but at least you have a good plan of action in which you make use of whatever resources you've got. And once you're ready with your plan, if you made mistakes, correct yourself. It's okay. There's no harm done making mistakes. Don't get bogged down because you made a mistake. Now, what is the cause of the impression? Nothing is lost. One task, well done, not so well done, has got no meaning at all. And that is your impression whether you've done it right or wrong. If you made a mistake, correct yourself and get going. If you don't understand, understand. You must understand, read it properly, understand. Once you made a plan, then you make a good plan and then you execute. In the discussion part, get going, take on the responsibility and drive the whole team along with you. Tell them this is the way we'll go about doing it. Give your logical reasons why you feel that this is the way. This is the shortest distance, you take so much time. So that's the way you must do it. And that is the way you handle people. I told you, all three of them are doing the same job. That is, they're assessing the candidate on those 15 qualities. Methods are different. Interview is in the past, what you've done in the past. And the whole basis of interview is what you've done in the past, so shall you do in the future. The psych techniques are projective techniques, in which you are told to write stories in TAT and WAT and SRT. So there are make-believe characters that you make in them. And your characters behave in some way, then you are the one who's making them behave. So the psychologist basically, let's say, for example, the group test, let's say the command task, in which, or the progressive task, or any of those outdoor activities in which you have to get across one obstacle, solve some problem of getting across the obstacle. Now, all of them, in those cases, the GTO or the system has made the problem and we tell you to solve it. This is your helping material, this is your problem, this is the rules these are the rules that you have to follow, these are the structures, etc., which you can make use of, and this much time you have, you get well. But the psychologist says, here's the picture, create your own problem, create your own solution. So there is a lot of correlation between the interviewing officer. Same thing, he asks you, why did you do what you did, whatever you did? Let's say you did engineering and you did computer engineering. Why did you do that? So you gave a logical reason why you did it. Not because I didn't want to do mechanical engineering, so I did computer engineering. That's a silly answer. But there is no rationale, there is no thinking, there is no logic behind this answer. But if you gave the answer that I like to do this, it's my interest, in case I don't get into the armed forces, then so again, logical thinking. So why did you do, how did you solve the problem? Now, GTO has demonstrated performance of the problem. How does he solve it? Practically in front of everybody, with everybody. The interview is, how did you solve the problem in your past? And the psychologist says, here is the picture, create your own problem, create your own solution. So there is a lot of correlation. Method is different, techniques are different, interpretation is different method, but we are all looking at the same 15 qualities. Next question.
Yes, sir. So this is the last question. What is the significance of a command task? How should be our role as a commander during the task? If my subordinates are not able to complete the task under my command, am I allowed to take the situation in my hand alone?
Okay. The command task isn't the only assigned leadership task in which you are assigned the role of a commander with the GTO. And it is up to you what you do. You work with your own hands also. You work with your own brain. You must work with your own brain. It is your brain. It is you are the commander. You have been told that the other two will, or two or three who, as many allowed, will not speak or will not interfere unless you wish them to do that. There are clear instructions are given. In fact, everything is very clearly told to you by the teacher. And if they are not able to do because of physical limitations or their inability to perform or because of physical problems, then you get in, you step in, you do it. In fact, you should be the one who's also doing it. You work with your own two sweet hands also and use your own brain. If they are not able, they are not allowed to use their brain at all. They are just mute participants. They are like robots. They follow instructions, whatever you give them. If you feel that it's not reaching them, that they're not able to understand, you take it off. You come in front. Nowhere does it say that you have to stand on the side like a red chief and order. You take it up. You come in front. If you feel that you should be in front, be in the. If you feel you are at the back, be in the back. You can be wherever you want. The completion of a task is what is important, and the role that you play and what you do. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving the details answer. Now I pass on to my host to present the vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so, with a heavy heart, I must say that we have come towards the end of this wonderful gathering. I hope today's event was helpful to each individual in their own sense. I thank all the attendees for their time, patience, the organizers for their support and efforts, and on behalf of the organizing committee and the audience, I heartily thank you, Khandekar sir, for sharing with us the knowledge and experiences which came to you after years of dedicated work. I also thank our promotional partners, Indian Army Brad and IMA with Love on Instagram for their constant and intense support, and also Mr. Shivam Ahir for introducing the team to Colonel Khandekar himself. And with that, I wish everyone safe flights, happy landings, Godspeed, and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. And I would like to thank once again the team Arambh for this wonderful presentation and a very wonderful gathering of everybody and organizing this show. It's wonderful. It's great. And the rest of them, of course, Rupam, Ashutosh, Nilay, and Priyendra. Thank you very much.
A pleasure, sir.
So nice.